Good morning. Happy Sunday. Big picture day. Sunday's big picture day. Peter Diamandis. Look him up. He's a friend of Elon Musk's, one of the smartest guys on the planet. He runs 360 is one of the companies that he runs. He runs several kind of think tank companies. They help develop new technologies. They help develop entrepreneurs who are developing new technologies. They get together and give out awards for who's doing the most stuff. Remember, after Business Mastery, I talked to you about the guy that's taken 7 companies from 0 to $1 billion. Well, Peter is one of the guys that works with guys like that. He helps guide entrepreneurs, but he also helps get them money. And then he's good friends with Elon Musk and some of these other people, and they get together and they have big awards for who can do the biggest stuff. And what are they working on? Well, one of the bigger things that's happening now is how to take carbon out of the air and have it be cost effective. And in fact, the guy that I talked to you about a couple of weeks ago, who's taken 7 companies to $1 billion, he's developed a new technology that really seems to be cost effective to do that. And Peter just got Elon Musk at the beginning of the year, when he became the wealthiest man in the world, to donate $100 million as an award for the team that comes up with the best system to do this. So that competition actually starts this month and will go through the rest of the year to who can create the best device, machine, opportunity for taking carbon out of the air and having it be cost effective. The thing is that's going to happen. The other thing is, obviously there's so much stuff going on with genome, gene mapping, and all of that, but energy is one of these areas where so many things are changing. The cost of using fossil fuels just keeps staying at the same level, while the cost to use non-fossil fuels continues to drop. And really the two that are in the race right now to be the winner is nuclear and solar. Nuclear being fusion, and solar, of course, we all know what that is. Nuclear fusion's been around forever. It's just that the cost to actually produce the reaction is more than what you get out of it. So it takes more energy to produce the reaction than what you're going to get. But they figured out how to do nuclear fusion a long time ago. You remember in Back to the Future that he had Mr. Fusion on the back of the car. Well, the reason everybody wants to go mine meteorites is because they're looking for a metal, tritium, that is probably going to make it so that nuclear fusion becomes a reality. That technology, though, seems to be moving a lot slower than solar. A few years ago, it cost $4 or $5 to produce a kilowatt hour of solar energy. That's now down to $1.30. And the way the technologies are going with nanotechnology and solid state batteries, this company, CCVI, has got solid state batteries where the battery is just one solid piece. The predictions are in the next couple of years, that's going to get down to a couple of pennies in order to produce a kilowatt hour of power using solar. Well, think about what that will do when that happens, because solar just keeps, most countries in Europe now have gone to that by the next 4 or 5 years, you can't produce a gas car. All cars are going to have to be electric. I mean, this is where everything is going. When that happens, the countries that have the most sunlight are the ones that are going to have the biggest opportunity to export power. Well, who has the most sunlight? The poorest countries. You're talking about Mexico, Central America, parts of South America, big parts of Africa that get, 96, 97% of their days are all sunlight. They're going to be able to put up solar arrays. And, the technology that's developing solar isn't just about How do we generate a kilowatt hour, but then how do we store it and transport it? How do we get it from one place to another? And, those technologies are advancing dramatically also. So when that happens, those countries are going to become the biggest exporters of power. So think about the shift that's going to happen in the next couple of years. I mean, those of you that are my age or old enough to remember where all the United States in the 80s and 90s talked about was dependency upon foreign oil. Well, we now export more oil than we import, and we have for quite a while. So think about when oil isn't an issue anymore. It's still going to be used, but over time, the people that are exporting power generated by solar are going to become potentially the ones financially dominant if they control it. They may also screw it up and make it so that they just rent the space and other companies come in and control it, and they don't control it. I mean, if you think about, what some of the Caribbean islands did with their beaches, they basically rented them out and they didn't control them. But those countries are going to have the opportunity to suddenly be financially powerful. While at the same time, the other thing that's happening is 3 different companies, SpaceX, Elon's company, that is Elon's company, Google's space company, whatever the heck that is, and then Virgin, have all been launching satellites for the last couple of years, and they're all netting the United States. And I know I talked about this before, but they are going to make it so that every square inch of the planet is lit up by 5G or higher. So in other words, you're going to have cell phone coverage everywhere, top of the Himalayas, uncharted islands, everywhere. You will have cell phone coverage. And they're literally going to go and just drop the phones out of the air, and they're all going to be solar charged. So now you've got only about half of the globe right now is on the internet. What is there, 8 billion people, 8.5 billion people? So 4 billion are on the internet, 4 billion are not. So in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see countries with the most sun have an ability to be an energy producing power like the Middle East has been, like the United States has been for the last 50 years. And then you're also going to have the second half of the planet get on the internet. Think about the changes that are going to happen there. What does that all mean for us? Opportunity. That's what that means. Anytime there's titanic shifts like that, it's very disruptive. It's going to be very disruptive. I mean, politically, this is going to be a very interesting time, to say the least. It's a great opportunity for customers, but it's also a great opportunity for dictators. But for the people that understand how to write, for the people that understand how to market, for the people that understand how to utilize the internet and do things with it, for the people who understand how to create content and develop it and find talent and utilize it, this is a time where all of a sudden your customer base is going to double. And, the United States has always been a country, and so has Europe, have always been countries that have been ahead of the curve on all of that stuff. So think about all of these changes and where we're going. If you stop 11 years ago, this device that I'm talking into didn't exist. It wasn't around. We had Blackberries, but we didn't have a smartphone that did everything that this does. Technology doesn't change at the same rate. It develops exponentially. So think about where we're going to be 10 years from now. Huge shifts in power, huge shifts in energy, and the second half of the planet is all going to be able to see us on this device. Incredible opportunities, incredible responsibilities, but I mean, that's where we're all headed. So as you think about, as we come out of this pandemic, what can I do? Let's say you've been disrupted in terms of your employment. Let's say you've been disrupted in terms of your career. Think about the opportunities that exist to educate people. Think about the opportunities that exist to sell things to people. I mean, this this shift is going to be significant, and it's going to be incredibly disruptive to a lot of countries that I'm not sure how prepared they're going to be for it. But if you're on the cutting edge of all of that stuff, it's also going to be a tremendous opportunity. I think at times we get, of all the things that I get out of attending these seminars, the big picture thinking, I think, is the best. I always get new ideas. I always get motivated. But it's really great at one point to step back and take a look at all of the changes that have happened and all the changes that are coming. Because when you do that, I think it's a good way to see there's just a lot of opportunity and a lot going on out there. I mean, the ability to write, because so many people now communicate through email, and so many people communicate through, even when you talk like this, most people actually translate it and read it. They don't listen to it nearly as much. So if you can write, or you can teach people how to write, you're going to have a tremendous advantage over the next 20 years. So kids that are learning how to write, kids that are reading, those kids are going to be able to communicate much better than people that are not, because a great deal of our communication is now in writing. So I want us all today to step back and think about the big picture ideas. What are the advantages that you have? What talents do you have that you can bring to the table? As the world gets smaller, what can you teach everybody to do? Everybody's got something that they're really, really good at. What is it that you can bring to the table that you can teach the rest of the world that they're going to pay you to learn? That was the whole basis of the company that Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi started, called KBB. Essentially, it was, look, everybody's learning things on YouTube. Take what it is that you're really good at and know, create a channel on YouTube, start to teach people, and people will pay you in order to learn that stuff. And the whole world becomes your market. If you think about 30 years ago, your market was what was around you. That was it. Your market was the people that were within your radius. What you could reach with a television station, what you could reach with a radio, what you could reach with a newspaper. Your market is now the entire world. And in the next 5 years, it's literally going to be the entire world, as everybody is holding one of these devices. Great opportunities to do great things. So, some food for thought. Look up Peter Diamandis. He's an extraordinary guy. And his videos where he goes through, he basically goes around and just talks to people and helps people who are doing the next level stuff. That's essentially what he does. That's essentially what his life is. And it's pretty interesting to see all of the things that he's talking about and that he's doing. Have a great day, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.